Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen, and this week we are doing another tag video. This one is called The Final Girls Tag. This was created by the Late Late Horror Show. They came up with the tag, and they tagged me in it. So this is all about our favorite survivor girls from our favorite horror franchises. So let's get started, shall we? The first question is, your favorite final girl? Now, if you guys know me at all, and if you watched any of my videos, you know what the answer to that question is. And that is Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode in the Halloween franchise. I mean, what more can you say that hasn't already been said? Not just in the original Halloween from 1978, you had her in Halloween 2, she was awesome. You had her in Halloween H2O, she was awesome. And we don't like to think about Resurrection, but, and then you have the new film coming out this October the 19th, which is simply titled Halloween. We're going to see her again go at it with Michael Myers, the Boogeyman, the Shape. So looking forward to that. And yeah, that's my favorite final girl. Number 2 is the most badass final girl. So for that, I'm definitely going to have to pick Ellen Ripley from the Alien franchise, as played by the great Sigourney Weaver. What an amazing performance in both the original film and the sequel Aliens. As well as Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection. She's got to be the most badass. She's incredibly intelligent. She's an outstanding science officer and astronaut. And she uses that training to her utmost ability in the Alien franchise. In the original film, she doesn't quite know what she's dealing with when it comes to the xenomorph, the alien. But she absolutely rises to the challenge. And she's just incredible. She's so awesome. I mean, does it get any better than "Get away from her, you bitch"? Gotta love that. Number 3 is best final girl scene. So for me, I am definitely going to pick this one right here. I'm going to show this off a little. And that is Amy Steele as Ginny in Friday the 13th Part 2. And in that last act of the film, when Jason chases her to his home where he's got this shrine set up with his mother's head laying there and his mother's sweater laying there and all these candles burning. So Ginny takes the sweater and puts it on and uses a little of that child psychology she learned in school. She uses that against Jason. And he pretends to be his mother, Pamela Voorhees. And she starts talking like her. She's like, "You've done your job well, Jason, and Mommy is proud." And he really gets distracted. And once he gets distracted, bam, he lays the machete right into him. So I just think that's a classic scene. That is one of my favorite scenes in horror history. It's amazing. And Amy Steele is an amazing final girl. Definitely in my top 5. Number 4, best kill by a final girl. Once again, I'm going to have to go with Laurie Strode. And this time it's from Halloween H2O. When she takes out Michael Myers once and for all with the axe. Chops his head right off. So that was the most badass and the most unexpected thing in the franchise. I was like, wow. And I really thought that was it. I thought that was the end of the Halloween franchise. And that was just an amazing scene and just an awesome way to end it. And I feel that should have been how the series ended, period. But, you know, of course, we got Resurrection. Don't like to talk about that much. Number 5 is best era for a final girl. Now that is really tough because to me it's really close between the 70s and the 80s. Now both had amazing final girls, and that is really tough to pick, but I'm going to have to go with the 1980s because in the early 80s there were just so many slasher films, you know? So many slasher films that were inspired by Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween. And, of course, you had Friday the 13th, you had Adrienne King, you had Amy Steele in Friday the 13th Part 2, and, of course, you had Jamie Lee Curtis returning in Halloween 2. And so many others. Because there was so many slasher movies, and so many slasher movies have the final girl style character, and there's a lot more slasher films in the 80s than there were the 70s, so I'm going to have to go 80s. Number 6, best movie with a final girl. It's going to be Halloween, 1978. It's my favorite film of all time, so of course I'm going to pick that, and my favorite final girl of all time, so I mean, the movie's just incredible. It's absolutely amazing. Everything about it. The characters, the acting, the score, the suspense, everything about the film is just top-notch. Number 7, who did you root for as a final girl, but got the axe in a film? In other words, got killed. So I'm definitely going to have to go with Janet Leigh on that in the original Psycho's Marion Crane. I really enjoyed her character, and I thought Janet Leigh did such a great job, such an amazing performance. Even though what she was doing before she got killed, she stole the money from the bank. Even so, I still really enjoyed her character. I connected with her character, and I wanted her to live. I didn't want her to die at the hands of Norman Bates, as she did in the most famous, the most iconic murder scene in film history. The shower scene, of course. Number 8, most tortured final girl. Definitely going to have to agree with the Late Horror Show on that. Dino said that. And he said Sally Hardesty from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, as played by Marilyn Burns. Definitely I feel she was the most tortured. What she had to deal with in that movie, what she was put through, especially that horrific scene at the dinner table with the entire Leatherface clan, is such a horrific nightmare. And once she got through the dinner scene, then they tried to take her head off with a hammer and have her sitting in front of a bucket, you know. It's so horrific, it's so nightmarish, and it's incredibly torturous, and I can't even imagine what she had to go through during filming that scene. So definitely Sally Hardesty in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Number 9, put yourself in the place of any final girl. What slasher would you like to take out? So I'm going to have to go again with Friday the 13th Part 2 on that. I would be Ginny, played by Amy Steele, taking out old sackhead Jason with the machete. That would be the one that I would most want to be in. So number 10, finally, what final girl should have never survived because you could not stand her in the role? I'm going to go with Dana Kimmel as Chris in Friday the 13th Part 3. I just thought she was such an unworthy final girl as compared to the first two films. You had great performances by Adrienne King as Alice and Amy Steele as Ginny, both phenomenal. And then you followed it up with Dana Kimmel, who couldn't act her way out of a paper bag. She was such a terrible actress. It's a terrible performance, and her character is so unmemorable. Friday the 13th Part 3 in general doesn't compare to the first two, in my opinion. I know that might piss a lot of people off, but I do enjoy the film, but I don't think it's anywhere near in the league as the first two are. So that's my answer, Dana Kimmel, on that one. Alright guys, so that's it for the Final Girls tag created by the Late Horror Show. So now it's my turn to tag some people. I'm going to tag a whole bunch of people because I want to hear you guys answer on this one. I want to see this tag keep going. So I'm going to tag Lisa Loves, I'm going to tag Bronco Juggalo Talks Movies, Dave Maggot, Horrific Nightmares JM, Movie Massacre, HoRRoRdIgEsT, The Last Shoegazer, Movie Freak, HorrorMetal, Random Matt Videos, Last Venom 76, and last but not least, TheHorrorMan. So guys, that's it for the Final Girls tag. So answer the call and do the Final Girls tag created by the Late Late Horror Show. And thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Erschen, in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared.